Today I'm going to be demonstrating how I achieve this plaid look by carrying over the yarn, and it's really done through switching between three colors. So here I've been using white, light gray, and dark gray. I've been using the Brene Softy Chunky, which, as you can see according to the label, is super bulky. It's a 6 and it recommends a 8mm crochet hook. Because I am always working with 2 strands at a time, I've actually sized up to a 10mm hook, and I like the way that's been coming out. However, today I'm going to be demonstrating to you how to achieve the same look on a smaller scale. So this is with a size 4 medium weight of yarn. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So the blanket I had just showed that I'm making with the super bulky yarn is sizing up to be quite a large blanket. It'll be big enough for a full size or double bed, and I know that's quite a large project, and I want to be able to make a similar pattern in a smaller size with a lighter weight that's not quite so heavy. This particular project I have in mind for one of my partner's patients who is in a wheelchair and needs a blanket, especially for the cold Canadian winters. So I think the super bulky would be too heavy and uncomfortable for him. So I'm working with size 4 yarn instead. As you can see here, I have a couple different. I have the Red Heart Super Saver, which is size 4. I also have Red Heart Comfort, which is size 4. And I have the Brene Premium, which is a size 4, and I'm using these 3 different yarns just because they are what I had available, but you can use any colors that you like. But your plaid illusion will be a lot better if you find similar tones. So these blues are quite similar to each other, which help that overlap look nice and natural. And my yarns are all kind of a mess right now because I have a little kitten running around my house and she likes to tear apart my balls of yarn. So, as I said before, I'm going to be demonstrating how to achieve this look where you have the 3 different colors happening at the same time, and when you build that up more, you are able to achieve the look of plaid. I'm just going to be doing a small sample today, so a sample of about 16 stitches I think will work to demonstrate this. So to start off, I'm using my 6mm hook. You can't see here because of this fabulous painter's tape grip that I put on here because I was testing out whether or not I like the more ergonomic shape of a wider hook. So excuse that ugliness, but I'm going to be chaining 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So now, to start the first row, I'm going to do a half double crochet into the second chain from hook. So of course with your half double crochet, you loop yarn over and then pull through and then pull through all 3 loops. I just like the look of the half double crochet. You could adjust this pattern to have a double crochet or treble if you wanted, but I like the look of the half double crochet, and I'm going to be doing 4 half double crochet. So I'm on number 3, and on number 4 I yarn over and I push through the chain, pull through the loop, but instead of what I would normally do is I would yarn over and pull through. I don't want to complete that step. What I'm going to do, this is how you do the color change, is you are going to yarn over and put through, you'll pull through, and before completing, that's when we need our next color to come along. I'm pausing the video here to apologize that sometimes in the upcoming clips my hands seem to migrate up off the screen. That's really annoying. I'm sorry. I was filming this with my camera balanced on a coffee mug, as you can see by my painter's tape grip and my coffee mug tripod. I am just doing the best I can, but I hope I explained it okay, and if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Okay, sorry about that. Back to the video. So you have your 3 loops on your hook, and before completing that with the white, instead, to change color, you're going to pull through a loop of the blue. And so you pull through the loop of the blue just like that, and I'm going to push this tail off to the back, and now my white that I had been working with, I'm going to crochet over top of it. So to do that, you simply just lay it flat over top the chains that you're working into. I promise you, doing this first row is the hardest, and then it gets a lot easier once you have a little bit to hold on to. So now I'm going to take the blue and I'm going to do 1 half double crochet completely blue, and then 2, but I only want this very thin stripe of blue that's going to be 2 half double crochets wide. So instead of pulling through the blue on the loop, I bring back the white and I pull the white through. So now I've color changed back to the white, and I'm going to be crocheting over top of the blue. So to do that, make sure your blue is laying flat along the chain, and now simply carry on. Oops, this is kind of hard, like I said, to hold on to it and get everything nice and taut on that first chain. Makes me feel a little goofy sometimes when I do it. So then I'm going to keep doing my white stitches and simply crocheting over the blue. And if you let the blue go loose and you're just not really holding on to it, what can happen is you see these loops in the back that are peeking through. So what you're going to want to do is you'll just want to make sure that you pull your string taut, not too tight, because then all your stitches will ruffle together and be crumpled, but you pull it taut just so it's nicely laid flat and doesn't peek through inappropriately. Keep doing your white. And now I'm going to pull through another loop of the blue, and this is where I'll demonstrate another thing to you. You need to keep one color in front of the other. You see how this white had been on the back side of this blue as we crocheted over, but we need to pull it in front, otherwise our yarn will get twisted. So essentially, to avoid making these strings get all twisted down close to the ball, we put the twist up where we're working. So we do that by bringing the white over top, and then the blue is free and clear of being twisted up with the rest of the white yarn. So let's keep working through it a few more times. I admittedly am new to teaching, so we're both working through this at the same time. So right now I've got blue loops on my hook, and I want to change color to white, so I pull through with the white. And now I'm just going to finish this row with white, crocheting over top the blue, which I just keep snug alongside the chains. Now we're at the end of the row, and my next row is going to be white, so I want to keep hiding my blue in amongst my stitches until I come back to these blue stripes again. So what most people that I've seen have recommended, say that you chain one with your white and then turn, and I'll show that to you. I'll show you the two ways to do it. So chain one with white, and then you're going to turn your work, and then you take your blue and it just hides underneath. So when we do it that way, from this side, you can't see any of the blue. But I don't like that on this side, it sort of zigzags. And at the end here, it cuts across. Not really a big deal, especially if you're adding a border that will hook onto there and cover it up. But what I prefer to do, and this is where you have to keep track of your twisting so you don't tie yourself in a knot, which I am guilty of doing. So before chaining, what I like to do is think that I'm basically twisting around this blue to hide it at the edge of my blanket. So I twist around this blue with the white to hide it in. And to do that, I just, before chaining one, which normally you would chain one with your white just on its own right here, right up here like this, and blue just sticks out like that. So I don't like the end result that gives. So instead, I take the white and I make sure that it wraps around the blue one time. So that, see how the blue is sandwiched in between the white there? And when I do that, and I make my chain one, it holds the blue right to the edge of the blanket. And to me, and to my eye, it makes a more subtle transition between the rows. So then when we carry on our next row of the white, I'll show you why I like that better. And you can totally judge for yourself. Crocheting is supposed to be fun and creative and personal. So whichever way you like best, this is what I like to do. And so now I have the blue just sticking out at the very edge of the blanket, but it doesn't pull across diagonally on the front of the blanket anymore or on the back. So it loops around the edge. And I like that because I always add a crochet border to my blankets. That's just something I like to do. And that way I always hide this little pinch of blue that's sticking out at the end. And I think that gives a more cohesive finished look. As I said before, it's up to you. So now we're going to be adding our second row. And this is when things start to get easier because we actually have something to hold on to. And I'll demonstrate a few more times. And so now I want to switch back to this blue color. So again, I want to make sure that I pull my white string down in front so that no twisting of my yarn balls will happen and everything will stay nice and neat and we won't be untangling all night. And then you just pull through blue on your loop. So at first this is daunting, but you get used to it in time. And then pull through your blue. And we've now done our 1.5 half double crochet stitches. And we want to change back to the white. So pull through a loop of the white. And off we go to the races. Now I'm going to demonstrate the same thing I have already, that when you don't keep this color that you're crocheting over nice and taut, you have these pieces that poke out from your stitches, and that's not what we want. So if you notice that, it's important to just give a little gentle tug on that string, and that tucks them all underneath, and then you are left with your white stitches without any blue bulging out in a way that is distracting. So now we finished our white stitches, and we just pull back through, and we lay the white on top. Oops. See, now I made a mistake. I was pulling through blue on my second stitch here, but that will lead to blue showing up in this white box, which we don't want. We want a clean transition, so you simply fix that mistake by starting your half double crochet. Oops. And before pulling through the blue, you pull through a loop of white, just like that. And now crocheting over the blue until the end of the row. So now that we have a few rows done, our vertical stripes are starting to take place in our blanket, and we can really see them. And I'm now going to demonstrate how to add in the horizontal stripes, and this is where we need the third color of yarn. So I have that on hand here. So now when you come to the end of the white row, instead of finishing with a white loop, you're actually going to leave the white off to the side, because we're not going to be using it for a few rows. You can choose to cut it, fasten it off, and weave it in if you'd like, but I'm just going to leave it off to the side for right now. And you pull through a loop of blue. Make sure that your stitches stay nice and tight, because sometimes when you're doing the color change, your stitch gets a bit looser. And then you'll make your chain in the blue, and now you're going to turn. And for this first little section, I'm actually not crocheting over any color, because all I need is the blue stitches. So it's just your regular crochet, regular half double crochet. When we get here, this is where a vertical and a horizontal stripe would intersect, and the two blues would compound to make a darker color, as you can see in this example. So that's when we're going to bring in the navy blue. And just like before, when we transition, before finishing our half double crochet, we'll just pull through a loop of the navy blue, the ends off to the back so they're out of our way, and then see, this is an example of when during a color change my stitches got really loose and messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give a little tug on the lighter blue just to sort out those stitches. And now I'm going to lay the light blue flat along our work and put in our 2 half double crochets. There are 2 half double crochets with the navy, and now we're going to want to switch back to the light blue. And as you can see in this row, the light blue, or I should say lighter because it's truly not a very light blue, but the lighter color of blue is going to go into every white stitch, and the navy is going to go into every light blue stitch from the previous row. And so here we are adding the horizontal stripe. Keep our light blue yarn over top. When we go and change to our navy, we add our 2 stitches of navy, but before finishing off, we need to switch back to the blue, the lighter blue. And we seem to have a visitor. We'll see if she appears on camera. There's her little feet. She is my crochet buddy. She holds the official position of yarn tangler. That is her role in all of this. Anyways, so just repeating the exact same pattern, but with different set of colors. And as you can see, that is how the contrasting row starts to take shape. You will repeat that and then transition back to your white and your blue. And there you go. What do you think of this? There's my little crochet buddy. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it helped you learn how to carry over colors and change them to create a beautiful plaid like this one. Happy crocheting!